Okay guys, welcome to my tutorial on how I'm doing a solo dungeon. So let me just go right ahead and load up Sharp Wit 2, which is the one we're going to work with. Okay, so as you can see, the map is basically done already. We got the tiles, we got the walls, sceneries, and of course items. But what it's missing is obviously NPCs, and we have no scripts on the items. But all the other stuff is working, so we got the teleport set up, we got the ends, we got cover even because it's an older map. Just need some aliens. So we just go to the critter tab where we have all the aliens we need. So we got the name right here. This is the young alien, and then we got the stronger ones on the right side, and they even have different sizes now, as you can tell. So that's all well and good. Okay, so we're gonna start up here. Let's see, there's the ends. And let's not put enemies in the first room, but we might want to put them in the second room. Just two small boys right there. And okay, then the second room, which actually has got some loot. So I'm gonna put two small boys right there, then a larger boy right here. Then basically the same shit over here too. Doesn't really matter that much. I'm gonna put a couple more down simply because this is the second level already, and it's supposed to be a bit harder than the first one. Okay, and then the entrance to the next map is over here. So this right here is sort of an optional room, so we can get away with putting like a stronger boy right here with a couple of small boys. But as you can see, it's missing a container. It doesn't have any loot in it. So let's quickly place something down. For this, I guess a nice option would be the skeleton over here. Okay, just making sure he's accessible. By the way, you can switch these with the F keys. So F1, F2, F3, and so on. And this is Control B to check for the blockers. But you know, it's fine. This one is indeed accessible. Okay. So this is the mobs. Now, if we click the critters, first of all, it's important to enable the to all because we're going to edit them all together. So you see, these are like basic stats that they come with. This is actually in the proto file, in the server files, and it gets put automatically in every critter that you place with the mapper. So importantly, we have the team ID here. This ID range means they are hostile, but it also means they all have the same one. So if you take the first guy, basically everybody on the map would come. So we have to differentiate those by room. So this can stay on 1, then this guy we just go set those to 2. And those fun thing is always to sort of pull a guy from another room like this. So we're gonna have this come when you take this first guy, but then this one we might want to keep separate on 5, and then those, yeah, they don't have to be in order, but you know, might as well. And then the next thing is they actually need a script because right now they're not doing shit. So we need to enter the phx critter AI, and then the script is mob init animal. The animal is new, it just means it doesn't despawn when you try to loot it, because then it would disappear and the dungeon would break because it doesn't respawn. Because basically static critters, they don't respawn, they just revive. So yeah, if the critter is deleted, then it will never respawn like that. So dialog ID, they don't need that. They have their name set in a different file manually. This is done for like all the critters basically. AI ID takes care of mostly just the messages when they get hit, and like whether they're able to open doors. So this again is set in the proto, so it doesn't really need to be changed. Bag ID and team ID are not used anymore. Role is it basically only has one use. If you set it to -1, then those should be ignored by patrols. Now replication is important. This is in seconds, and we probably want to set this not too low. So like this is like 1 hour. Patrol route doesn't matter here. Agro distance is fine. 8 dist doesn't really matter. It's like when when one critter sees another one being attacked, and like at which distance do they react to it. It's not really necessary because we take care of that with just the team ID down here. Dynamic bag, for now we don't need it because they also, as a critter, they have the critter type bag, so they spawn the alien part. It's based on the critter type, like on the skin, so every alien spawns the tentacle. So we don't need that, but we could add it if we wanted to have these dungeon mobs have like better loot, like spawn an extra tentacle or like have better chance of it. Now the dungeon position is important. It basically syncs the critters to the containers. So I'm just gonna leave those at 0, but then those right here in the first room I'm gonna put to 1. Then this guy on 2. I guess I can base it on the ID, so this whole group is gonna be 3 and not just this guy. And then this group is 4. Okay, so that basically covers the NPCs. This shit is not really used, and this shit is for like making them randomly say things in the HQs, like the merchants, to fucking blink your window. Okay, next up, the containers. So for those again, we want to select them all. And then in this case, we want to use phx dungeons. You have to sort of navigate around the mic here, so it's a bit slower. And then init dungeon locker. All right. And here the first value is the debag that we want to spawn. The second one is the corresponding dungeon position. And the last one is how many times we want to spawn this. So on these we put dungeon position 1. So we select these. And here we put 1. So if all the critters with the dungeon position 1 die, then those containers will spawn. This is basically how all the dungeon shit is being spawned. So again, we can check here, dungeon position 2. So we set these to 2. These obviously were 3. Now the thing is, this one, like the way it works is you want to set this to where the player will kill the NPCs naturally before he reaches the container, so he doesn't have to backtrack, because then usually people will miss it. Because like they'll go in, right? Like if you have to kill these guys in order to respawn these containers, then players, like you don't know which door they will take. They will probably go into the loot room first, check the containers, see they're empty, and then just continue on. And they won't bother backtracking usually, so this is a bad thing. So in this case, we also want to make sure that this is that we get this container 2 and don't forget it. So then position 3, so we put a 3 right here, and then of course this is just 4. Okay, and now we set the debags. So in those solo type dungeons, we can get away actually with just spawning the surface bags. Because we can just use the modifier and spawn a couple of times. So in this case, the bag for all bookshelves is 5903. We can just spawn that in there. If you check this, this is a sort of, I guess, a commercial type area. This sort of looks like the offices. So Let me just quickly save this. With 2. So what I usually do if I need a bag, it's like I'm too lazy to navigate to the actual debug file. But in this case, I know that, you know, Gunrunners probably has a sort of a fitting loot table to it. Okay, and we wanted to get a sort of commercial type building. Which I guess on this map, let's see, that this might not even have commercial. Well, I guess, well, so this would be industrial bag, the first one. Like 504 is the map ID and the 1 is the industrial. Then the 2 is for residential. Okay, and the 3 then might be commercial. Let's see. I always get those confused. I guess the... Let's actually go to fucking hospital. Or actually, let's go to Maryland, because it has a bit of a better distinction. Because here we know, like, this building down here is definitely residential. So we have a 2 here, and then this is definitely commercial. And we got a 3 here. Okay, so 3 is the commercial one. So we can just go back to shop with 2. Get those containers right here. And then just put the 5043 on it. But then, to make it worthwhile, we also spawn it 3 times. And also, this script comes with a quality modifier, which basically increases the quality by up to 3 levels. So it's actually quite nice. Because you may find actually a pretty good chance of finding good condition armors in here, and weapons too. Of course, we also should put the modifier on this one, maybe spawn it like twice. Okay, so this takes care of most of it. And then this one, we spawn the skeleton bag, which of course is pretty good. We're gonna spawn it 3 times, and that's 5906. Basically, the way the bags work, if I can quickly find the... I don't seem to have it open right now. Okay, let me quickly get it up. Server data, dynamic bags, and then resources. So basically, you just have like map ID plus 1, which is the industrial, residential, and commercial type bag. So we got fucking a lot of bags here. But then down here we got another couple special ones. So ore mining, tree chopping, and other bullshit. And we got those ones for the containers that are like the special containers. So we got trash containers, medical lockers, and of course stuff like fridges and bookshelves. They have their own bag that's same for every map. Especially the ammo box and weapon box are also nice. So this is this 5900 to 5915 range. As you can see, this right here is the skeleton bag. So this has got a lot of stuff that it could spawn. But it's got a choice chance, so it's only spawning one of those items. So it's nice to, you know, put a little modifier on it. And of course there's like other bags. There's a whole fucking jungle of different bags that you can choose from. And of course you can make your own. But usually I just reuse something. So yeah, this is where we have a couple of like different dungeon bags. So we see like, you know, blueprint being spawned, hard drugs. Here's the safe. All right. Okay, so we basically took care of the loot, and this is at this point it's basically done. So yeah, that's basically all there is to it. So we can save that. The other thing we need now is just to enable the script. We need to Let's quickly wipe that shit. We need to go to the dungeon script. I don't know if that had a phx. I guess it had a. Let's see if that's it, right? And then we got this shitty fucking 10-year-old array where we have to put in all the IDs of the maps that we use the script on, and if we forget that, it doesn't work. So this is, of course, the cause of much fun had when you fucking do it and like, why the fuck doesn't it work? Because you forgot to put the ID in. So let me just go here. So since I'm gonna be doing all of those, I'm just gonna put all of those in. So for 6.0, this is obviously no rocket science at this point. And better fix your typos too. That's always a good idea. Okay, looks good. There's no comma at the end because it's an array. Let's go. And that's basically one level done. So yeah, I saved that earlier. Now the thing is, if you do, let's quickly go to Palm Lane West. Now, of course, it's quite easy to do that with aliens and critters where you don't have to work with bags. But if you have NPCs like this, then the problem is you need to figure out the dialogue ID and the AI ID because it's not set. And of course the actual weapon. So what you do for that is it's best to use the random spawns .foes, which is the patroller script. So the way this works is here we have a list of every single patroller that we want to use. They're basically set here, and they are defined in this list. This is basically just giving each of those entries a name. So yeah, if we go to the bar right here, we got 420, which of course is nice. And then entry number 420 is going to be a loner right here, which is actually not implemented yet, but you know, that's how it goes. Yeah, so the first one here is going to be the dialogue ID. Then comes the critter PID and the debag. So basically, if you want to place like a red shirt down like this, what we do is we go to the humanoids, which of course we can just like leave it on all because it's right over here. And then we just try to find the black guy in here. Let's see, there we go. Now it says weak and average because we have those different presets where we have the weak, average, and strong presets, which determines the skill and HP and the level and all that. So for these types, of course, we want to just use like the weak and some average maybe. So in this case, when we place this guy down, he doesn't have any of the shit filled out, right? So first you do the PHX critter AI and the mob in it. But then if you sort of know that like, okay, I wanna make a prospector, right? Let's say this would be some sort of mining dungeon for some reason. Then you just go to the patrol script and you locate the prospectors. And then ideally you also want to do that in this one so you can see the names. So this was 218, so here we have the prospector. So you have patroller, average, leather armor, male, prospector, right? So the black guy would be, well, I guess we don't have a red shirt prospector actually, but we have a black prospector in the metal armor. I guess these are actually, I guess these were junkies or hobos or something. So let's see, naked black junkie. Naked is basically all the critters that don't have armor. So this is going to be a 284 if you want to use that. 284 junkies. And it's going to be the fourth one from the bottom. So it would be this guy. And so we know, okay, if you want to have him be called a junkie in-game, then we gotta put the fucking dialogue ID down, right, which is this one. And then the critter pit, obviously this is basically the critter that we have right here. Okay, 232, this is the average one, so 231 would be the weak one, so this is definitely this critter. And then here, luckily we have the weapon that it's using. So we can check that in the patroller debug right here, 6049. So this is the junkie bag. So it comes with a stone and some bullshit. But basically this is just replicating the patroller because all of those are working with weapons that are suitable for these animations, right? Because the problem is a lot of those critters, like this guy, only has a rifle and a sledgehammer. And possibly knife, but I'm not sure about that. But he definitely has those two, right? And obviously the patrollers are already set up and working with that in mind. So you can just use those. But yeah, so basically go in and like, you know, put in the 6049 bag right here, 6049 and so on, do the replication. Also copy the AI ID from that, which in this case is 11. So he has the like taunts and shouts, you know, all of the good stuff. And of course the team ID, which again you do per room. So those again, for some reason those use 900, doesn't really matter. 903, 902. So yeah, of course, sometimes you'll need to set up your own debags. I mean, these are pretty, you know, you'll probably find something that you can just use. Of course, these are all holdovers from season 1. So back in the day, these had like actual actual weapons, you know, like light support weapon, 223 pistol, but then we just replaced all of those with just the generic tech, which of course now you have for like all the every single weapon class. You've got a tech one, so that's just, you know, the one to use. But yeah, that's basically all there is to it. And then of course you do the same thing with the dungeon position and the dungeon script right here. So yeah, that's basically it.